Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a really quick review on newborn swaddles. I've been wanting to get this video out for so long, and I've been trying to prep for it and have the perfect day set aside where I have my hair and makeup done and all that. Well, with an infant and moving, homeschooling, and working full time, it isn't just gonna happen. So y'all just gonna have to bear with me. It's gonna be like this because we're actually moving and unpacking right now, and I came across the box with all of these baby swaddles, and I thought before I regift these to someone else, I need to put out this video. Otherwise, I'm never gonna do it. So that's what today's video is going to be about. It's going to be on my personal favorite swaddles that I've used with my son, who is now 7 months old, and what he's currently using, which he's in and he's sleeping, so that's why I'm being really quiet right now. But yeah, so let's get into this video. If you want more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button. That lets me know that you enjoy this video, then I can put out more videos like this. Stay tuned to this channel because it's really going to flourish as soon as I have time. Basically, as soon as I have time to get more videos out, which is the goal, because I really want to make this channel something better than it was, and I have so many goals for it. So you want to stay tuned, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first swaddles that we used when we came home from the hospital was how they teach you with the swaddles with the blankets there in the hospital, which are great. We had some muslin ones that I bought off my registry that were awesome because they're long, they're breathable. But since Micah was born at the end of December and we live here in Pennsylvania, it's very cold here. So we felt like we were double layering with it. So the first couple of days, that's actually what I did. I swaddled with the blankets from the hospital, but I would do one and then lay and double fold a blanket and tuck it underneath him when he was in his bassinet. That way it gave him an extra layer. Once he started squirming a bit and breaking out, I had my husband run to the store and pick up this swaddle because I had a swaddle that I bought that I really wanted to use, but he was just still a little too tiny for it. I didn't feel comfortable. He needed to be like 8 pounds and he was still just a little under. So I'll talk about that one next because this to me was like the holy grail of them, but we'll get into that in just a second. So I had my husband go down to the store and pick out a swaddle for me, and I got this bean pod one. This is made by Summer Infant. It's the newborn edition, and it has the two-way zipper, so you can stick them in here, and then it has the zipper at the bottom, which makes for easy middle of the night diaper changes, so you don't have to unswaddle them. I used this maybe one time, to be honest. I like the concept of it because it keeps them in real tight and snuggly, but it still has a lot of give and resistance. But Micah just didn't really like it that much. I wish he did because it's really nice. I would recommend it to try it out, at least if you have a friend who might have one and you want to borrow it to see if you like it. So I don't think they're very expensive. I think it was $20, but it's $20 is $20 if they're not going to actually use it. You could put that towards another swaddle. But I do recommend this one though as one to try, especially if you come home straight away from the hospital and you want to put them into a swaddle and see. So that was the first one. It's a little pod one that I liked, but the holy grail of the holy grails of all the swaddles that I've ever tried, even with my first son and now Micah, I cried when he actually transitioned out of it because it was the best. It is that dun 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 dun. Oop, it's so heavy. It's the nested bean. Yes, I love the nested bean because it's like a weighted blanket but for infants. And it has some like the beading on the sides, so it just kind of gives it some weight on both sides, and then right on the chest or the back, however you put it on. And then it has the arm swaddles. You can tell this one's been loved. He's worn the heck out of it for nap time, for bedtime, all the time. So just basic breakdown of it. It has a little kangaroo pouch inside. So this is perfect for when they're little, like brand new newborns. My son couldn't wear it right out of the jump from the hospital because he was still under the weight limit, which I believe is 8 pounds. But once you could just tuck their feet into this little kangaroo pocket, and it keeps them even more snug than just with all of the excess at the bottom here. So that's one thing. Once they get a little bit bigger, if you don't have to swaddle them in the little pouch if you don't want to, and you have all this other room for the legs to kick around in there, and still feeling cozy. But then the bean, the weighted stuff, goes on the sides of them. So when you tuck them in, both sides is going to have the weighted blankets, the like little weighted sacks on the side. It goes around to their sides, and then this little one just goes right into the middle of their chest, and it just kind of mimics the mother's hand on them, so they feel like they have, something's cuddling them nice and close. So that's what I really liked about the nested bean. I wasn't too sure about it, but my friend had one, and I bought this off of her. And ever since I put Micah in it, he was sleeping like 4 hours. Like I was waking him up so that he would nurse. And I think he was probably maybe about like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks at that point when he could actually wear it. So yeah, this one is my all-time favorite. You can pull it to size it to make it fit more snugger, fit less. It goes right up to his neck. I didn't have any issues with him, like it riding up, not until he got a little bit older and a little bit stronger. But like I said, I tried to keep him in this as long as possible because it was our saving grace. He slept so good in this nested bean swaddle. It was amazing. So that one, I think we used this size up until he was about 4 months old, but he started rolling pretty early, so we had to transition out, and he was breaking out of it a little bit easier once he got a little bit bigger. So we transitioned from that, and I thought about getting another one, but I wasn't quite sure since he was already at that age where I wasn't sure if he was going to continue swaddling or not, so I didn't go to the next size up, but I did go and get one of these. I think I bought this off of Target, and it is the Dream. I think it's the Love to Swaddle Up. I think it's like the Dream on me, or I'll put the description in the comments below, or yeah, I'll put the name of it in the description below so that you can see, and a link of where I got it. But this is very similar to the pod. Very, very similar, as where it keeps their hands nice and cozy. It's tight, it has some resistance built into it, but in the arms, it allows them to sleep with their arms up like this, which once Micah got a little bit older, he didn't really like sleeping with his arms like this anymore, or like this, or down like this. He liked to sleep with his arms up, which I've read is like a natural reflex. They just naturally like to keep their hands up. So once he started getting out of that need to be like totally confined, like in the womb, he wanted to keep his arms up closer to his face. This was the next best thing. It also helps with self-soothing. So once he started like waking up a little bit and stirring and realizing I wasn't there, he would start to roll over, and he just kind of naturally started sucking on his fists, which was great for this because his arms were up. He wasn't having that natural, like he couldn't get to them, which to me is why babies sometimes don't like to be swaddled anymore, is because they can't self-soothe. This actually gave us a good way to still have a swaddle without being swaddled, but still being able to roll over to his side in this. He was like as soon as he would get into bed and I'd walk away, I'd turn on the camera and he was already laying on his side. So with this swaddle, I didn't worry about him rolling and not being able to get over because his hands were up or closer. I did transition out though, because once he did start rolling over onto his belly, then I didn't feel like this was safe anymore. But we were in this for a while, and this was a good transition swaddle because it still has lots of room for his legs to kick around, has good hip placement so it's not keeping his hips locked in close together, and it's still tight around his belly, so that gave him that cozy feeling. And then his hands were still confined so he wasn't startling, with the startle reflex. It wasn't waking him up in the middle of the night, but it was still close enough so he can self-soothe. You have the zippers on both sides with a little zipper cover so the zipper's not flying up in his face and poking at him. And then it also has here at the bottom the zipper for the easy diaper changes in the middle of the night, if you wake up and you don't want to take him out of the swaddle. So highly recommend this one. I love this one as well. Yeah, we use this one like every single night. I watch this every day because we loved it so much, and so did he. And once he started transitioning from this one, then we went to what he's in currently, which he's sleeping in right now, and I have another one in the washer. It's the Zipadee Zip. Love it. I'm going to do another review video on that one once he wakes up, because he's actually sleeping in it right now, and once a baby's asleep, you don't wake a sleeping baby. So we're just going to let him sleep, and we'll do another video on that one soon. So those were my swaddles. These I'm going to review too, but I wanted just to recap that the ones that we loved the most were the Halo SleepSack for newborn, up until they can roll side to side and want self-soothing because they're breaking out of the swaddle. I recommend the Swaddle Up. And then once they can fully roll over but they still want to be swaddled, the Zippy. Those are the three. I swear by those. I know every baby's different, but that's what worked for my baby. But yeah, so back on track. These are two other brands of swaddles. They weren't a hit with Micah. I know I had this one with my son. He's 10, so 10 years ago, we had this Halo SleepSack, and he loved it. He never had a problem with it, but he was a little bit bigger. But like I said, once he started rolling over, and it wasn't safe to use the swaddle anymore, I just kind of took it away one night, and he never complained about it. Whereas Micah's a little bit different. He definitely needed his swaddles. So everybody, like I said, every baby's different, but that's what worked for Micah. This is what worked for my oldest son. This is very similar to the other swaddles. I feel like this one's a bit bigger, so it gives a little bit more room at the feet. So I don't know. In my opinion, it's a little big for a newborn to really enjoy that snuggle feeling. So they might not like a swaddle too much because they still feel too much room here on the legs. That's just my opinion. But this one, let me see. It is for 3 to 6 months, so 13 to 18 pounds. So yeah, this one is a little bit bigger for maybe an older, not so much newborn. I do believe they have a newborn one out there that's very similar to this. You just have to check them out. But this one would be a good transition one once they are out of something that's a little bit more snug, or you want something that still keeps their arms in for that moral reflex, but they're a little bit bigger baby. This would be a good option. This one too also has the dual-sided zipper so that you can change in the middle of the night without waking them up or taking out the Velcro. The one thing I will say about these, that noise. They are very loud, especially when you have a wiggly baby like I did. Trying to get this super tight and good and comfy while they're trying to fall asleep, it's very hard, especially when they're moving and then you got to readjust. You hear that? That's a lot. That's loud, especially at like 2 in the morning when the baby's half asleep. That will wake them right up and you have to start the whole process over again. So that would be my only complaint on the Halo brand. But if they're a little bit bigger and they're not so wiggly and they're not trying to break out of this, 3 or 4 times a night, the Velcro is not a problem. And along the same lines, it would be this one. This one's also by Halo. It's the Swaddle Sure brand. This is very similar. It comes with the 2 straps. This one's super loud with the Velcro because there's Velcro everywhere. See? Another layer of Velcro. So along the same idea of the nested bean, it has the little pocket. If you can see, I'll stand up. It has a little pocket that you can put them in, but it does still have a lot more room. And this one's still 13 to 16 pounds. So this would be the same size bracket as the Halo SleepSack. So, you know, that's something to consider too. But it's got a little roomy down here for the legs, but it still keeps them snug. Then you've got this where it attaches. So I feel like if you are swaddling a baby, you have to get this side up. So putting them in here, getting this where you want it, then this where you want it. So yeah, no, wait, hold on. I swear I swaddled babies before. You do this, then maybe you do that. So then this, you gotta get it attached. And then I think you go over like this maybe? No? Okay. So you do this side where it's got the stuff that it attaches to. Put the arms in, so now the arms are down and tight. Then you put this one up to seal the deal, all right? And then just to make sure they don't escape, you got this one up here. And don't forget this one down here. And that one makes them where their arms can't be like Houdini. All right, so that's what this sack looks like. Great swaddle, but y'all saw how that took, and I swaddled. Maybe when you have a newborn or an older infant that's still swaddling, it might be second nature and it might come quickly. Obviously, I'm doing this on my chest and not on the baby, but just imagine that. All this Velcro that you've heard and trying to get all these steps with this snuggly little wiggly little bean pad that you're trying to swaddle into this to go to bed. So yeah, I like it. I think it's got a lot of secure features to it. I don't think it was very expensive. I think it was probably around somewhere between $20 and $30. You can buy them easily. I think they're everywhere at Target. But like I said, keep in mind all of the Velcro, all of the noises, and all of that. It also, since it doesn't have a zipper, you're having to take all of this and undo them in the middle of the night. Unless you did all those first, then put this one on top, and you would just have one little Velcro to kick their feet out. It's up to you. My little guy always found a way to get at least one arm up. So I used to have to undo all of this, stick them back in, especially in the middle of the night for diaper change. Something to keep in mind. So those are my swaddle reviews on the swaddles that are really popular on the market today. Which ones that we use, because I think I have exhausted all of them. The only one that I didn't try that I wanted to try was the Merlin SleepSack. I just read that that's really good for babies to keep them on their backs. So not from rolling over, but at the same time, they were really heavy. I didn't try it, so I don't know. I can't really say if it was good or bad. Just for me, I didn't want the baby to overheat, and I didn't necessarily like that's, you know, that it was so heavy, and it was hard to wash and dry, I read. So something else to keep in mind. But you could do your research, see different swaddles. These are ones that worked well for us and our family and our needs at the time. Like I said, I still have he's almost 8 months and he's swaddling still, but within that zippy one. So it's not really a swaddle. It's just more of like a comfort thing now. It's like a SleepSack wearable blanket that he loves. Still has resistance, so it still keeps his arms in so they're not constantly, because he likes to move and that wakes him up. So I feel like that's a really good transition one. If you are done with swaddling, but you still want to have a wearable blanket, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. The video is obviously not sponsored by anyone. I'm just giving you my reviews and my opinions on what worked for our family. So with that, you can take this advice, do a little research, or let me know which swaddles worked for you, which ones, if you got any of these, if they worked for y'all. And yeah, and tell me how you like it. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos like this on motherhood, babies, house renovations, because we're actually moving. That's, like I said, this is why I look like this right now. We're just packing up things. So yeah, you want to stay tuned to this channel. So be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.